What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV and it's here. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. Nice and early, SuperSaf style. A thumbs up for that would be appreciated. So excited for this device. Let's go ahead, get it unboxed and take a closer look. So initially looking at the front of the box, we do have the Z or the Z, however you want to say it. And this is actually in purple because we have the mirror purple color. There's also a mirror black as well as a mirror gold in certain markets. Let's open up this sleeve. And that's quite cool. We've got the Flip branding here. Ooh. And then we've got a note here about the Flip. The future changes shape meets your Galaxy Z Flip. Now I'll let you pause this and have a read. And then we're presented with the device. Now it does come with a bunch of warnings. Once again, I'll let you guys pause this and read. Galaxy Z Flip Premier Service. So you do have a service package with this, 24 hours concierge support, and you've got a number that you can call in here, and 1 year Samsung screen protection. So for £99, if you do damage the screen within 12 months, you can get a repair for £99, which is pretty cool. Right, as well as that, in the box, you do get a fast charge. This is a 15-watt fast charger, so it's not crazy fast like some of the others that we've seen this year. There's a USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, so it's not USB-C to USB-C. We've got some AKG USB-C earphones. Now, these do have a braided cable, which is pretty nice. And finally, we have a USB Type-A to USB Type-C adapter, and this is going to allow you to transfer your data from a previous device. Then we've got some paperwork as well as this sort of plastic case that's going to go on the two portions of the Flip. And it's got this sort of purple section around, so that's kind of to go with the theme. I'm assuming you're going to have like a black version for the black one, possibly a gold for the gold. Now let's get to the device. Right, so it is currently in some plastic, which we're going to take off. All right. And there we have it, guys. That is the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. This mirror purple color looks super, super cool. It's very reflective. It's no doubt going to attract lots of fingerprints as well. The black version is pretty plain, so I'm glad I went with this mirror purple version. So just going ahead and powering on, Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, secured by Knox, and we've got powered by Android. Now once you've gone through all the setup, as we had on the plastic when we got the device out of the box, we do get a few pointers before you get started. So it's saying things like avoid pressing hard on the screen or in front of the camera lens, tap the screen lightly to keep it safe. When you fold the phone, make sure there's nothing inside that could damage the screen, such as cards, coins, or keys. Your phone isn't water or dust resistant. Don't allow any liquids or small particles to enter it. Keep your phone away from credit cards, medical devices, and other objects that can be affected by magnets. So that's quite interesting. It does have a lot of these warnings, even though this display is now glass. So Samsung are calling this ultra thin glass, and it's no longer plastic. I don't know how Samsung have done this, how they've managed to fold glass. That's absolutely insane. But nevertheless, it's still not going to be as durable as your regular smartphone because of the functionality. And this is the reason why you've got some of those initial warnings. This is a beautiful display. Viewing angles are great. It's 6.7 inches when it's fully open. It's around 21.9 by 9, the aspect ratio, so it is quite long. It's got a full HD plus resolution, but you're still getting around 425 ppi pixel density, which is pretty good. And it looks absolutely stunning. Like, this is a really, really good display. And of course, it does fold. That's so awesome. I love the fact that it can fold. Now, bear in mind that you can see the crease. It's not as visible as yet because this is a brand new, fresh device, but I'm sure the more you use it, the more it's going to be obvious. And it's more obvious when the screen's actually off. When you've got content on the screen, then it's not that much of a big deal. It kind of blends in, so you don't really notice it as much. I personally don't think it's going to be too much of a big deal. I've been using the Fold for a few months, and it's something that, I just learned to ignore after a bit. Now, another massive improvement on the Z Flip is the new hinge. So this is a hidden hinge. It looks a lot like the Samsung Galaxy Fold hinge, but it has been improved massively. Firstly, there's lots of little fibers inside which will try to help keep the dust out. But also it's a flexible hinge, so you can actually fold the device in different angles, and this way you're going to be able to use a few different features. One of the cool features is, say for instance you're watching a video on the top half of the screen, then you can use the bottom half of the screen for comments and things like that. But also other apps are going to be supporting the flex mode, so you can have something on half of the screen such as your gallery pictures, and then you can use the bottom half to navigate. This makes things really, really interesting. Also, if you want to take a selfie and you want to put this on as a stand, then you're going to be able to do that. So I definitely am excited to test this new hinge mechanism out a lot more. Now let's take more of a look around the device. So firstly, we do have a punch out for the front-facing camera, and that gives it a pretty good screen-to-body ratio. So yes, we do have this bezel, but for a foldable device, I think it's pretty good. It's still quite minimal. And we have a 10 megapixel front-facing camera with an f2.4 aperture. What's interesting is you can film up to 4K 60 frames a second from this front-facing camera. We've got a small earpiece, and then when we close the device, you can see that we have the dual rear-facing camera setup. Now both of these are 12 megapixels. The primary camera has optical image stabilization as well as an f1.8 aperture. And then we've got an ultra-wide camera. This has an f2.4 aperture, and it's going to let you get so much more into your shot. I'm a huge fan of ultra-wide cameras, as most of you guys will know. There's a flash, and then we've got this cover display. Now this cover display is pretty small. It's around 1.1 inches. It's Super AMOLED again, and this is going to show you things like how much battery life you've got left, the time, your notification icons, and also you can answer the phone. So if somebody's calling, you can just swipe to answer it or reject it, or from this small display. It's also going to act as a bit of a viewfinder if you want to try to use the rear-facing cameras as front-facing cameras. So yes, you'll get much better quality, but that viewfinder is definitely quite small. So this display is definitely more of a preview display, shall we say. It's not something that you're going to be interacting with too much. It's just for information at a glance and things like that. Now, when the device is folded flat, I mean, there is still a bit of a gap, but the gap is relatively flat. It's not as open as what we had on the Samsung Galaxy Fold. We've got a metal frame with glass panels on the outer shell, so it does look and feel very premium. On the left-hand side, we have a SIM card tray. Now, this has support for a SIM card, but you do not get micro SD card expansion. On the right-hand side, we've got a volume rocker, as well as a fingerprint scanner. Now, what's interesting is that this fingerprint scanner works really well and it's super fast, but it's actually a physical button, so it also acts as a power button. So unlike the Samsung Galaxy Fold, which has just a capacitive area and a separate button, I actually like that this is a button in itself, which makes things a lot easier. Now the bottom, we've got a USB Type-C input, we've got a couple of mics, and then we've got a single bottom firing speaker. So we don't get stereo speakers here on the Z Flip. Kind of understand why this is because of how the device is structured. So that's something that you're going to be missing out on. Of course, there's no 3.5mm jack. Now, another thing that's quite interesting about the Z Flip is that the internals are actually pretty good. We do have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus chipset. So this is something that came out later last year. So it's not the 865, but it's still a very capable chipset. You've got 8 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.0 storage, which again is a decent amount of storage on the device that you're getting. Yes, you're not going to be able to expand it, but I think 256 gigabytes should be more than enough for most people. Now for the battery, you've got a 33,000 mAh battery. It's actually split across the device, so we've got one half of the battery in the bottom and one half of the battery at the top. As mentioned earlier on, you do get 15-watt charging, which is relatively fast. It's not as fast as 25 watts or 45 watts as we've got on other devices. And the Z Flip also supports wireless charging, which is pretty interesting. So you do have 9 watts wireless charging, so it's not super fast, but that's good. But what's interesting is that you also have support for wireless PowerShare. So this is where you're going to be able to use the Z Flip to charge other devices wirelessly. So it's quite interesting that Samsung has still included quite a few of these features, considering that this is a foldable device, which is quite different to their regular lineup. For software, we do get Android 10 out of the box with One UI. One UI skin that I definitely like, very clean, and it's a big improvement from what we had in the past from Samsung. And for pricing, this is starting at £1,300 or $1,380. So it is pretty pricey, but I think for the technology that you're getting here, it's not so bad, and especially considering that this is coming in cheaper compared to the Motorola Razr. And honestly speaking, like, I've not had a chance to fully review the Motorola Razr, but when you do put this up against this, considering this has a glass display, it's got much better specifications and cameras. I think people are going to quickly forget about the Razr now that this is out. What do you guys think of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip? Are you going to be picking one up? Definitely let me know in the comments below. Also let me know what coverage you'd like me to do with this now that it's in the house, and I'll try to get onto that as soon as possible. And if you do want to see all of that coverage first and not miss out, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. I'll see you next time. Yeah. It's all good, man. It's all good. Right. Bye. Call ended. I think that's my favorite part of the flip.